Deion Sanders was a very, very excellent football player. It turns out, at the level he was coaching at Jackson State, that he's a damn good football player, a football coach too. Deion Sanders is now a part of politics, right? Because politics is who gets what. So by Deion Sanders coming to Jackson State and trying to show players and people and other coaches that you could come through the HBCUs versus the Division Ones, he's deciding that he wants to be in the mix of who gets what. You see what he did to Jackson State's football field and their locker room and all that. He's a good fundraiser. He's connected. He's a politician now. He's bigger than just money. When he goes to Colorado State now, or Colorado, whatever it is, and it seems like the lure was the $5 million plus whatever else built into the contract, that seems like it was a move just for money. So it questions, it makes people question whether or not your loyalty was with the principle of what it was, the who gets what of what it is, the politics of it, as opposed to saying, hey, man, if I get a better deal somewhere else, shit, I'll see you niggas later. That's what that kind of seems like. Although, I mean, we've seen him as a hard worker and everything that he does, very disciplinarian, makes, shit happen. But just when you look at, if you don't put no commentary to it, and you just look at what it is, he goes to Jackson State, HBCU, and, everybody's down with that because what it seems like it is, as I said, a political move. Like, who gets what? Man, I think that people should come here. We could compete with the Division I schools if we do what? Chomp at the bit, and we got to build up to that. But then to leave and then go to a Division I school, and it seems like it's for money. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it at all, because I thought myself that Deion Sanders was about worth $40, $50 million or something. So I always thought, because they were saying he gave some money back, from his salary to help them, build better facilities and all this kind of stuff. So I was thinking, like, he's saying, shit, I don't need the money. I'm just here to make the point that we could attract good people to HBCU schools. So, it's almost like if you're starting to build something and then somebody says, hey, we don't like that because, man, that may be even in competition with us. Let's buy them out and stop what they're doing, stop their progress. Because let's face it, Deion Sanders at the helm of something like that, come on, you got some major impetus going. Then all of a sudden to pull him away, and the thing that pulled him away was the white man's money. Because I'm thinking, shit, if I got $50 million, I know people would say I'm crazy, but I would like to think that I'm set. If I just make 5% on it, that's $2.5 million. Of course, you're going to give Uncle Sam some and all of that. But if a black man can't live on $2.5 million a year in America, there's something wrong with him. I don't care how far you've risen in your standards and shit like that. Any man for that matter. If you can't live on $2.5 million, there's something wrong with your ass. I love Deion Sanders, man. Always been a good player, show kind of guy, prime time. He always backed his shit up. And still does. But my thing is, now you're doing it outside of another arena. We know you could coach. Everybody knows you could coach. We know you could play. You put in the work. You put in the work. Now, you became bigger than the game, really. You were a politician. You were in the whole, machinery of who gets what. You could be a real decisive factor in that. And a real integral factor. So it teaches me, first, that it's important to manage your money and know, what makes you satisfied so that you can't, just keep like, how much is it, what I'm saying? How much money do I need? I think the bigger thing that it teaches me is that we as black people are not bound to each other by anything. And I think that's one of the worst crimes of slavery, to steal someone's culture. Because that's what binds people together. In talking about Kanye West and how that whole thing came up about the Jews, right? So whether it was about the Jews controlling Hollywood or about the Jews eating matzah fucking bread. The bottom line is they have a culture. And I was listening to a guy, a Jewish guy, in rebuttal to what some of the things Kanye was saying, or actually explaining them. He says, look, man, we as Jews, we want to see each other do good. He said, you know why? He said, because it is obligatory for a Jew to donate. It's obligatory. So he says that if I see a Jew doing good and he's in my community, I'm so happy for him because I know that he has to donate. He may donate to my son's school. He may, donate to the local yeshiva. He may donate to this, to that, who knows? But he's going to donate to something making our community stronger. And just hearing that, I thought, okay, let me relate that to black people. Let me relate that to black people. What is it that's obligatory in the black race, in the black culture? What must we do to maintain a community? What must we eat? What must we not eat? When will we pray? When will we not pray? What should we do in terms of circulating our money within our ecosystem to make our community stronger? What should our women wear within the community? Just so many things. We have none of it. And so Deion Sanders is not going to bind himself to black people no more than a white person is going to bind himself to you. We don't have anything that binds us as a culture. The only thing that we have in common as black people are our skin color. And anybody will sell out motherfucking skin color for $5 million. And so you can't blame Deion. All he's saying is, fuck it, I could be worth $50 million. These white people have taught me throughout the culture we learned from them to get all the fucking money you can. Don't necessarily worry about giving anything back to your community, and not saying that he owes us or me anything. And he's not going to see it. Like I said, the only thing we have in common as black people in America is skin color. He doesn't see, oh, that's my brother. What holds us together? We might have, we might have a kind of a certain language that we might speak, but we change that depending on what state and what neighborhood we're in. And most of us, to succeed, we're trying to talk like white folk. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you got to do a lot of times to survive. Because they don't want you around talking on motherfucking Ebonics. This is a time to look at what culture do you have in America that would make Deion say, hey, I care more about the politics of it. I care more about the race aspect of it than I do about the money. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that. And so, knowing that, it's like, why wouldn't you expect that man to go for that money? We don't have anything in terms of principle that we live in by in terms of things within our culture. So any of us can be bought off when it comes to money, because that's what we're told. Once you get money, you're successful. Once you get money, you're not necessarily successful. You may, in fact, be more destructive and not even realize it. Some of them kids went to Jackson State because of Deion. Now, he may have kept it real with him and said, hey, if I get the right opportunity, I'm gone. You got to do the same thing when it comes up to you. Take advantage of opportunity. He might have told him that. But the bottom line is a lot of people join to be under his tutelage. And now for him to leave like that, it appears like it's, hey, I'm going where the money is. And it could be that the black folk at Jackson didn't want to pay him anymore. And they probably could have had it in his budget. He said, man, y'all don't want to pay me no more? Then, hey, I'll show you. We don't know. I don't know the inside stuff. But what I would say on that part, I would say this to Deion. And of course, it's already done. But Deion, in this situation, in terms of it being racial, as we know, everything is kind of through that racial lens in America. You are worth much more than $5 million. You much more than $8 million, whatever else they could put in your contract. To the black society at that particular time, making that stand and taking that stand that you did, you got intrinsic value that we can't even measure. But it's all over with now because there's nothing in our culture that makes anything obligatory to us. And so for $5 million, a nigga will say, hey, I'll see you niggas later.
Well, all right. Yeah. Ever since I turned pro in 1989,